what would you give to, someone who wants to maybe open their own custom handmade stone business? Like, is it...
Don't do it. Joke.
I think back yourself, trust your gut, back yourself, and there's so many amazing people in this industry. Like the people that we have met within the 3 years that we've learnt so much from, and, they're great business owners, they're creatives, and I don't find the industry competitive and toxic. I find it really welcoming, and we've been welcomed with open arms, and I think lean on those people. Our goal is to redefine how people see stone in their houses. So kind of push the limits of where and how you can use stone in your home or in your space, in your retail space. And I think what Joel's saying is we don't see these people as competing. We see them as doing that and getting people creative about ways that they can use stone in their home. And it's only a good thing to have other great designers and creatives in your industry, because it shows people how versatile and how beautiful stone is.
Welcome to Behind the Design, a podcast where we unfold the details behind the designs we know and love and explore how each project comes to life. I am Camilla Ingle, owner of Unfolded, an interior design and styling studio. In this podcast series, we dive into the details with our industry experts, covering topics such as the creative process, latest design trends, and how we, as an industry, work together to meet the brief and overcome challenges. Let the conversation begin.
Jack and Joel, welcome to Behind the Design. Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here. So good to have you down from Newcastle. Yeah, down to the Central Coast. Yeah, it's beautiful. A bit rainy, but beautiful. Rainy. Not too bad, not too bad. And so Unrivalled Interiors. I was going to dive into the fact that you do beautiful handmade stone furniture, but I thought, let me just check what unrivaled means to you and why... Where did that come from? It's a name I actually chose before Unrivaled was Unrivaled. Initially, I was like, it'd be cool to have a business and sell some secondhand furniture. It's just a little bleeping moment in my mind. But when we did decide to kind of launch Unrivaled, we kept the name, and it means that you're in a game of your own. There's no rivals. You're not competing with anyone but yourself. So that's kind of what it means to us.
In your own lane type thing.
Yeah, in our own lane, yeah.
That's really cool. And so handmade stone furniture, what was the catalyst? Made you want to bring it to life, I should say?
It all kind of started when we bought our first house. And I kind of got addicted to Marketplace, just trying to find stone furniture anywhere I could. And we picked up some really beautiful kind of vintage pieces that were from Italy. The idea was born over a glass of wine on a COVID afternoon. We were sitting around our travertine table, and we realised that there was a real gap in the market, especially Australian made. It was born then.
Jackie was the one that started it, so okay. I started making in the back shed. Because Jackie wanted me to try and make it just for a few pieces for our house.
Like prototype.
Yeah. Just for pieces around the house, just play around, and just started from there in the back shed and ended up growing to 2 other sheds now. So
yeah, he would make the bits and bobs for our house, and then I just started posting it on Instagram, and it kind of just organically grew.
Wow. So that's proper. You had no idea.
No idea how to do it.
So I love that though. And so from a business perspective, how did you manage that? Have you both or either of you done any business degree or?
No, so we're sort of learning along the way with the business side of things. We've got a lot of mentors that we've sort of worked closely with along the way. But we have learned from a lot of mistakes as we went as well.
Naturally.
Yeah. Big time.
Big time, I know. And that's exactly why we're here behind the design, right? There's so much that goes on
too much.
Behind your beautiful Instagram, your following, people don't know.
Yeah.
No one talks about this stuff.
It looks all glitzy and glamorous sometimes.
It's a highlight reel.
It's a highlight reel, that's for sure. But we have learned so much along the way. We often look back at the first post we put out, and we were so excited and we were so naive.
Sunrise.
We went on Sunrise.
Oh, did you?
It's really embarrassing because we were like so fresh and like we had our, it's just keen beats, honestly.
The first collection pictures, we deleted it.
It's for the archives. It's for us to look back on, but
personal reflection.
Yeah, you just learn so much along the way, like, and it's all happened so organically for us. Like every kind of step that has happened has just felt really organic and natural, and yeah, but we've learned so much from other businesses and
seeing what's out there. Yeah. And how do you see yourselves? We can dive into the pieces themselves in a minute, but how do you see yourselves in the market, given I'm thinking of other suppliers that I would typically work with, McMullen & Co. and Engold.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the comparison? How do you sort of compete with?
I guess for us, like our point of difference is that we are Australian made, and it is something that we're super proud of, and it's not always the easiest to keep things made in Australia. It's a lot
expensive.
Yeah, expensive, and, you know, it can sometimes be a lot easier just to get things made overseas, but it really aligns with our values and what's important for our business, and we love keeping jobs local. So, yeah.
We also, our bread and butter is custom stone furniture, so customization, being able to do it within 4 weeks for a client, rather than if you get it made overseas, you'd have to wait probably 12 weeks, maybe longer, depending.
That's average.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, customization is what people come to us for a lot as well. So that's our main, really.
And so you work with both. We were having a conversation around working with interior designers like myself and also the general public. What is the difference with the briefs? I mean, I would just naturally imagine that my brief to you would be very detailed, very descriptive.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm needing from my client, whereas a potential general public coming to you would be a bit...
General public, sort of, they love a little bit of direction. They'll send you a lot of inspiration, pictures, and just sort of say, go for it. But interior designers do have a bit more clarity in exactly what they want.
Yeah.
But we also do work with interior designers to create or design pieces as well, especially for structural, I guess, stability is a main thing, especially dining tables.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely help to design a lot of pieces as well as, work with it.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just come to us with like a brief or like say, this is the colours that we're going for, this is the space we need filled, and we'll go back with some different stones and some designs. But then there is designers, kind of like what you were saying, that will come knowing exactly what they want. Yeah. So it varies. But I would say most of our clientele is probably interior designers.
That's good. And that's that reliable sort of, not referral, but it's where you know that once you've done that first job with them, you know, they say you're only as good as your last job.
Yeah.
If they're happy with that, like someone like myself's happy with one of your products, I'll be like, oh, great. I know their quality, I know their service, I know that they can communicate, all that type of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely what it's been.
Yeah.
A lot of loyal clients.
You know, we've got some interior designers that put us in every project. Like,
that's brilliant.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And then with the general public coming in and asking you to do these custom pieces, it sounds like you can get quite creative then. If you just get a bit of like, here's the inspo, let me know what you think. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is good. Obviously, being Australian made, it may cost a little bit more, but they do get exactly what they want by the end of it. Budget might be a bit of a, I guess, question at the start, which helps us identify the design a bit better and the stone used. So, yeah, it does help.
I think the good thing about that as well, though, is, you know, you can come to us with a budget, and we have so many stone suppliers, and we can get really creative with the design and make tweaks that we know are going to make the piece fit the budget. So we don't mind shying away from that conversation at the start so that we can kind of give them a product that they want, but also meet their budget.
And it is so important, like I think, you know, again, from my perspective at Unfolded, it's like Unfolded, Unrivalled.
I know, I love that. That's some good juju. I really like that.
It must mean something.
I think so. It's written in the stars.
I just think it's so important. I know, you know, when clients come to us, sometimes my role ends up being your role in terms of they'll say, oh, can you create something for me? For me to be able to go to you and say, hey guys, I've been given free reign. Let's bounce. Like, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So fun. We love collaborating with like different designers because I feel like we have the same goal. You want to create something unique, bespoke, and so it's so fun when we get to do that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so where is the line between what you guys want to, or what you both want to develop, and maybe what you just do for everybody else? Like, do you ever do like a custom range that's your designs, or is it always just as soon as someone comes in and gives you a brief, you make that? You don't have like anything off the shelf, do you?
We do. We have.
Do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have some stock products, and we've kind of last year they kind of took a back seat, and the custom design really took over. But this year we've really focused on kind of bringing out some more designs, and we've really enjoyed that, designing new pieces. We've got 2 other collections that are in the works at the moment, so it's fun to do that together. Yeah, it's fun to sit down together and have a glass of wine and chat about where we want it to go.
Get creative.
Yeah.
And that's that personal expression, right, of what you guys want to develop versus just a client brief, another client brief. Yeah. And so Newcastle, are you guys born and bred there, or?
Good question, but no, we're both country kids. Yeah, I'm from Armidale and Joel's from Dubbo. We were actually talking in the car on the way here, like how kind of our upbringings and like our values kind of, I guess, play a part in how we choose to run the business. Those kind of old school country values kind of come into play. Like, I just remember my parents always saying, like, if you buy well, you buy once, or like if you look after something of yours, it'll last forever. And like my dad's mum, you know, she turned the curtains into board shorts and they were then hand-me-downs. Like, everything had second lives. And I think like we really want to create a product that will be enjoyed forever, that can be passed on as a family heirloom, like quality, good product.
Longevity, durability, but also appreciated.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's personal.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm from Lismore, so totally get the country vibe.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's a very different upbringing when you grow up in the country.
It is.
Compared to, have you ever done the Sydney stint?
I can't.
It was big.
Yeah.
12 years.
You did it?
Yeah, 12 years.
Wow. From Lismore to Sydney.
Lismore to the coast.
Yeah.
So school here.
Yeah.
And then down for uni, and then I was there for 12 years. I only came back 2 years ago.
Wow. Are you okay? No, I'm sure.
Yeah. Jerry talking about it, actually. Shiver up my spine.
I shouldn't say that. Sydney's amazing, but like, yeah.
It's good for what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And I think I look back, you know, upon reflection and go, the way that it all went down was how it was meant to go down. I was meant to do my degree in Sydney. I was meant to have all of those first jobs in Sydney. I created a network. I started my own business.
Yeah.
That then got to a point, and I feel like you guys might align with this sort of, when your business gets to that point where you feel really kind of safe in what you're doing and secure in what you're doing. So bringing that back to the Central Coast felt timely.
Yeah.
Because I knew what the business was about. I had my values were grounded.
Yeah.
And I'd created that beautiful connection in Sydney of all those contacts, and I'm still doing projects down there.
Yeah.
So it was just timing.
And what a great place to learn. Like,
that's it. And it's hustle bustle. Like, it's busy, it's opportunistic, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
And I think in those really formative years, it's pretty cool.
100%.
And then you're like, now I need chill.
Yeah. You're like, I know what I want.
Yeah.
I know how to get it. Yeah.
And the coast is that, like, similar to Newcastle. It's a little bit more chilled and relaxed. But I feel like demographic-wise, and I don't know about you guys, I actually find that it's nearly busier in these areas because people are moving out of the city.
Yeah.
You know, and they're wanting a little bit of a backyard.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
And then they're investing in different pieces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's nice, you know, when they invest in the interior design process, but then it's also beautiful when they can say, let's get some custom pieces made. Like, that just makes my day.
Yeah.
There's so much creative juices that can flow with that.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
And so how long have you been open?
3 years. Yeah.
Only 3 years.
Yeah.
You guys are doing so well.
Like we said, it's funny to look back on and kind of see from our back shed to now 2 spaces on, and
8 months ago, it sort of went a lot bigger, I think, than we were. So, yeah, probably about
the growth.
October last year, maybe we grew a lot more since then. So,
I think we just shifted our focus and like really knuckled down on what we wanted and where we wanted the brand to go. And before it was kind of just like where the brand would take us, and then we kind of really had to think about where we wanted to take the brand.
It was interesting chatting with a builder recently around being sort of taking the role of, or wearing the hat of, working in the business or on the business, and just how it's really important to have that moment and really sit in a quiet moment and work on, okay, where am I at? Am I still in it or am I on it now? And when you're working on it, that's the growth phase, right? And we can all stay in it for so long. And that's something that I've only just adjusted to, is really just wearing that hat of like, okay, what does today look like if I'm working on the business? And it can be a bit daunting.
I feel like that really describes where we're at right now, don't you think? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. You work on the business, you work on meeting new clients, and now we have a lot more relationships with interior designers. We went to Brisbane not long ago to fly down there to introduce ourselves to a few. And I just think exactly what you just said mimics exactly where we're at.
100%. Like before, it was just so much focus on like Joel making all these products and getting them out there, and we were kind of like stagnant. It was like everything we did went straight back into the business, and the business was kind of staying where it was, and then we really shifted our view, and
it's like a plateau sometimes until it then jumps up again.
And it really took us sitting down and thinking about like where we wanted to go and working on the business to kind of take that next step. And it feels so much better, doesn't it? Yeah.
And so then as a couple, how do you find working together?
I love it. Joel might not say the same because I'm the hard one in the relationship.
Do I want to ask the question?
Yeah, I need to go.
Joel, how do you feel?
I usually, I don't know, really actually. Yeah,
not sure how to answer.
It's good because Jackie has a whole completely different perspective on everything than I do, so that's not a bad thing. But I think we both have our strengths and weaknesses, and using those is probably what we do best. So
bit of balance.
We've only found that out not long ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're such different people. Like
Jack can speak, I can't.
You can, look at you go. I love it. Like Joel's very good at like maths and numbers. I'm more like I've got more of like English brain, and that kind of stuff. So we do like really bounce off each other. And even when we went and had a couple meetings, it was a while ago now in Sydney, like we went in and I go, Joel, I'll take control of this. Like let me lead this. Yeah, we go in, I freak out, don't say a word, and he just takes control of the whole meeting. And I was like, well, thank God, here I am going in all.
You were like,
puffed and you like ready to go.
Yeah, blazer all done up.
Yeah, literally. Joel saved the day. So no, it is fun working together. I think like
I had to tuck my shirt in that.
No, yeah. Was it that full? Two funny coming in. We were in the elevator going up to this like big interior design architecture space. And I'm like, Joel, his shirt's not tucked in. So he undoes his pants and tucks his shirt in. And then just as the elevator opens, all these people look at us and he's doing his pants up. And I'm like, I swear we'd not have a quickie in the elevator. Yeah. There's cameras. Literally, everyone's face just turned. And I was like, at least I remember us. Were you wearing your shirt? Unrivalled. Yeah, we were meeting people for Unrivalled. They'll know. I mean, it's, what is it? All publicity is good publicity. I agree. Like, just work it. Own it. It's so funny.
There you go. So, there's so many facets to what we all do, right? Like the presenting, the pitching, the hustle, the behind the scenes. Like, it's just so much to it. And then we show these pretty Instagrams and everyone's like, oh, I loved your last project.
Yeah. I have no hair left after that.
Great.
Yeah. It was worth it though.
Yeah, literally.
There's much more to it than I thought since we started. A lot more to it, especially when you have to have a business mind. It's changed so much.
Really. Somebody had.
Well, we both like, Joel's a teacher and I'm a social worker. So we both have degrees in totally different worlds and worked in, I was in child protection for 6 years, Joel teached for 5 years, so it's a big change, but it's good. It's good.
And so you both don't work in those industries at all now. Are you full-time Unrivalled or?
I'm full-time Unrivalled.
Okay.
Jackson part-time.
Yeah, I do like a bit of marketing stuff on the side now, but not in child protection anymore. So I think it's really interesting, like you go to uni and you get your degree and you kind of think that's your career forever. But
That's it. It's like, I've done it now.
I've done it now. Yeah, I've got a HEX bill. Like,
This is what everyone's doing.
this is what we're supposed to do, right? Yeah. And then you get 6 years down the road and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, I don't know if this is for me. And we both kind of felt like with teaching, and social work, it was like we could only ever work so hard and get so much, I guess, back.
Yeah.
Like,
to the exact same amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know, financially, you could put in the best 8 or 12 hours that day and you're still only going to get so much back. But when you put that into your own business, like,
completely different.
yeah. I mean, we never really saw the business going here. Like, it's been a ride, but it is interesting, I think, to go from those solid kind of safe careers into something totally random and totally different and finding our place.
100%. And both those careers are reliable income, right? Like, it's sort of that government, you know, and I've got friends who sometimes, some of my best friends, we clash so much because my sort of ambition and my career goals, they're just like, I'm good. I'm just working here and doing my thing. But that's it, because they want that safety, right? And that's so human. It's so human to want that safety and security.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, okay, no idea what the next month's going to look like, but I might start a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what am I doing?
What brought you into podcasting, if you don't mind?
I wanted to do it. So probably 18 months into Unfolded.
Yeah.
I just was like, I think I just absolutely loved the passion that I started to feel in the industry. So obviously always loved the industry. I've always been in the industry for 13 years now.
Yeah.
However, I'm such a communicator. I'm curious by nature. And I was meeting people and I'd just be looking at their Instagrams and thinking, you know, industry people. I'd be looking at their Instagrams and thinking, wow, what such beautiful work. But like, who are these people? You know, who's behind all of this?
Yeah.
And Behind the Design was one of the names that I thought of from day one in like 2021. So it took me 3 years to find the courage.
I love that.
To do it.
Yeah.
But it's been received so well. And I think it's because industry people like ourselves, like, we don't get to talk about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's nice to share it with our following, with our audience, because it's not only an educational piece, but it's also a chance for us to talk about what actually goes on and how we got here. Because it can just look pretty. It's like some days are not pretty.
Some days are not pretty.
Some weeks are not pretty.
Yeah, I love that. Because, like, I think all the time in, like, when it is your own business, you can kind of, there's, like, two roads. Like, you have these amazing ideas, but fear can sometimes hold you back. So, like, when you do take the lunge and when you do go for it and you reap the rewards, it's
so
scary, but it's amazing when it pays off.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's where sometimes, you know, entrepreneur, that word, little shiver sometimes. But it's true. Entrepreneurial mindset is a creative mindset. It's thinking outside the box. It's opportunistic. It's all that type of thing. So if you see it like that, we are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We're not doing cookie cutter stuff. When you see it like that, it's sort of like, okay, cool. There will be moments where you take that leap and you take that jump and you have no idea what is going to come from it.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys going from couple of glances on Facebook Marketplace to almost 11,000 followers. Like, you know, you do so well and it's so successful. It's like, how did you get there? How did that all happen? Yeah, there was moments where I just had to trust the process. I had no idea what the answer was going to be or that it would work.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work? Like,
back to teaching.
Yeah, back to teaching. I don't know what I'd go back to. Yeah.
Working for someone, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like also behind all of that is just like wanting more and like continually like just wanting more out of life than just the day to day. Like, you never want to stop building, whether it's Unrivalled, which I hope it is, but just like continually striving for something more. Not that we're not happy where we are, because we are, but you know, that drive.
I totally get it. And I'm similar. I've had people say to me like, okay, cool, like, you've got it now. And I'm like, one more thing. Yeah. If you don't mind. Yeah. I'm also working on, you know.
Yeah.
And so you do have those moments where you go to bed at night, you You do have those moments where you go to bed at night and you'll just sort of sit there quietly. And I think, well, yeah, shit, how annoying that I didn't have much sleep last night. But the ideas that came overnight, something that I'm really excited about today. And it's like when they say anxiety doesn't necessarily have to be negative. Anxiety can be excitement.
Yeah.
Anxiety can be you're looking forward to something, but you just don't know what the answer might be on that something. So it's also reconfiguring, like, yes, we're driven. We're creatives, right? Where our mindset is to create and do bigger and better.
Yeah.
But I guess that leads me into asking around, like, work-life balance. Like, how do you guys manage that?
Took us a while, didn't it? At the start, it consumed everything.
Yeah.
We had to set some firm boundaries, didn't we?
It's still good, bro.
Yeah. Like, we literally got to a point where we were like, okay, we cannot talk about the business.
Especially
at a certain point.
A couple.
Yeah.
It's really
Marriage, it's cool.
Marriage.
Yeah.
It
5 o'clock, usually we try and stop. But sometimes we're emailing things after. If Jackie's reading, she loves a book.
I love a book.
Okay, paperback?
Yeah, always.
Paperback.
Always has to be a paperback.
Yeah.
And on one a week sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just I don't know. I try and read a book, but if not, I just flick through emails or watch a telly show.
Yeah.
Play with the dog.
It's funny.
Yeah. It's good.
Do
That's
something.
really healthy. Especially when you're in the business all day.
Yeah.
Can get a lot.
Oh, I can lay there at night time for hours, as in when Jackie's sleeping, and just thinking about what's happening with tomorrow or the next day, or how that piece is going to get there. Now we've got a good couple of freight companies we can trust. So sometimes our old freight company, we didn't know it was going to get there on time safely. That was our first ever freight company, our first year.
That's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had to learn about logistics at the start, which was the hardest thing ever, because obviously it's heavy and you have to palletize everything and everything like that. But now we've got a white glove delivery service, so they just take it, install it and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're always like, why do we choose stone? It's fragile and heavy, but it is so beautiful. I just feel like you can't beat it.
With it.
Yeah, it's so timeless.
But that's so interesting because it's I want to dive back into 3 a.m. thoughts in a second, but it is really interesting with that white glove delivery service. It can sound really fancy, but just for our listeners, it is the full hog, right? Like it's purchase, wrap, drop off safely, no breakage, unwrap, rubbish removal, installation.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important, I find, it's actually in my contract, as a pick which service you would like. Because every time we're ordering for clients, you can't assume that they want white glove because they're paying a bit extra. And or someone like Temple and Webster who might drop it on the curb 3 or 4 doors up.
Yeah. 3 streets over.
Somehow it never got there.
Yeah.
So I've nearly thought to myself, I want to disclaimer this, and the high-end suppliers will offer that white glove, and it's just so important, particularly with stone.
Yeah. You want your customers to be satisfied, and that last bit of process needs to be implemented, I guess, to make it a good service. Or
It was holistic too, isn't it? It's door to door.
Yeah.
And then you guys are super happy with, all right, cool, it's been delivered. That console is now in that entryway where it was meant to go.
Yeah.
We've done our job.
And they're not
clients
huge
happy.
companies either. They're like, we can speak to them as soon as we want, or we're in touch with them pretty often as well. So it's not like your big FedEx. We have used FedEx for little things, but for your larger pieces, we definitely use our white glove.
Yeah. No Aramet.
No, not that way.
They're a challenge. I've been on hold to them for hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Some interesting experiences. It's part of the learning, hasn't it? The freight.
Logistics is probably the worst part of all. Or the hardest, most challenging.
Most challenging, for sure. Yeah, it was interesting how you were mentioning around, thoughts, or you're lying in bed thinking about the next day or a project or that client text that I forgot to reply to, but obviously I'm not going to reply to that 11:47 on a Tuesday night.
100%.
Or you look at the clock and you're thinking, how is it 11:47? I swear I jumped into bed at 9:30. Yeah. It's like, oh no, this time wasted. But it's funny, like the thoughts that come up for me could be something that I know the average person would laugh at, but it would be like, did I put matte paint finish in the schedule or the skirting? Like that's sometimes the detail.
Yeah.
So niche.
I know.
Yeah.
But it matters.
Yeah.
Because if someone does gloss, it's a whole different look.
Yeah, 100%.
So I know average people would just be like laughing at me, but I'm thinking, no.
But it would have been matte.
It has to be matte.
I also kind of find that like when I'm lying down at bed at nighttime trying to sleep, like I also have my best thoughts and my best ideas. I have to write things down because I wake up in the morning and I'm like, who was that genius that was lying in my spot in the bed?
She was on fire.
She's amazing. I don't know who this is this morning, but that girl last night. So I have to always like, I grab my phone and write little ideas down. And
yeah,
because you do your best thinking.
I think it's just because you don't have the distraction of life.
Yeah.
Like your brain is just digesting the day. Your subconscious is having a moment to just like lay out the land. You know?
Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Building ideas. And it's such a creative thing. So with your custom designed pieces, with all of that stone, I know you say Australian made, but is there like key suppliers that you work with, or, you know, like in terms of the selection process, I guess would be a better way. Have you had suppliers that you're like, okay, cool. You know, for example, I know that sourcing certain travertines and things like that, spillage, I'm talking the technical stuff, right? Glass of red wine, that's going to stick. Do you go through this entire process with clients, or do you sort of go, it looks beautiful, here you go, when you need to make the selection process for the client or the interior designer? There's lots of different stones out there. Do you have your sort of key suppliers, and then do you work, are you educated in the sense of, oh, we know what type of stone to, you know, for that dining table
sort of thing?
Yeah, the dining table versus an entry console, it's probably not going to have a coffee on it.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess at the end of the day, it's the way, it's the way because you seal it with a particular, I guess, sealer, but we use lithophane, which it pretty much prevents it from staining no matter what.
And can that be applied to any stone?
Yeah, any stone. Yeah, so.
That's news to me.
Yeah, so it's usually, that's what we applied all of our finished products with. Stone-wise, it doesn't really matter. It's all mostly about looks, but some, I guess, designers are more happy to go with a quartzite for their dining table because it's a bit tougher, less scratch resistant and things like that. Whereas you see Trav everywhere still, even though it probably is the
quite porous.
Yeah, most porous stone you can get.
Yeah.
Or limestone, but yeah, Trav's probably the most. But really, it varies, but to be honest, I don't think it's a huge problem.
Because it is, particularly for us, you know, we would get so upset if we specified something not knowing that it just didn't wear well. And the client comes back in 18 months and they're like...
Well, if you think about all the vintage tables you see, they're pretty much all travertine, like probably 50 years old and older. Like we've got a piece, I think, made in 1986 or something like that in our house. Does not have one stain on it. So it's been in the processes of house to house or whatever.
It's lived many lives. And I spill wine on that often.
So it's literally, it's just make sure you maintain, I guess. But yeah, I
think it's a lot sturdier than what people think.
Because it's such an educational piece, you know, for someone like myself to be so involved in understanding why, how, as a client, obviously then is learning that from me. But going through you're probably not having that conversation with the client either.
One of our suppliers that we get a lot of our stone from, he is, you know, he knows
down to the molecule.
He knows everything there is to know about stone. So we've learned a lot off him, but we're pretty keen to kind of get him on and do some sort of interview or something to put on our socials, just because he is so knowledgeable in it.
I envy people like that. There's only so much I can take on.
Like he poured a bit of coffee on his limestone bench, left it there for 10 minutes, wiped it up, and it was gone. So, yeah, he was just showing me that it doesn't really reflect what people actually think.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's a bit of like I'm not too sure if it's a full myth, but like to be honest, what we've dealt with in the past, even at our own home, it's not really an issue at all.
And so when it comes to all of these custom pieces and styling homes, do you have a project that would be a favourite to date?
The most recent ones we've completed at Papinel's Sleepwear.
Yeah.
We worked with an interior design group called Wonder Group. They're from New Zealand.
Oh.
And it was a place at Bondi Junction. It got installed maybe 3 weeks ago. And it's just, what would you call it? What sort of shape? Like
it's just like a really organic kind of abstract shape. It's asymmetrical. It's
the space,
the table.
The table itself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's really cool. It's not...
It has curves, but it also...
Yeah.
The curves are actually formed with a drop edge. So if you'll look at our socials or our website, we have a article about it as well. But it's very technical in how it's done. If you know how it works, the game and what 40 mil drop edge is, rather than actually just cutting it shape into it.
Yeah,
it's a very technical piece. That's really my favourite. Man, I don't know what else.
And that's like a reception desk, right? Like a
display table.
Is it display table? Yeah. So in their pajamas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sleepwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleepwear is a better word for it.
Yeah.
PJs.
I was saying swimwear.
Yeah. I don't know what else I love. I mean, I love it all, but
maybe the new collection.
The new collection is beautiful. Actually, the collection we're working on at the moment is amazing. I love it. We did like a micro cement and was it travertine? Micro cement and travertine piece, which was really cool. I loved that.
From an interior designer in Sydney.
Yeah. We do work with a bit of mixed materials as well. Like there's that table that...
We've got one about to be installed in 2 weeks. It's 5.5 meters long. It's for a lawyer firm. It's a boardroom table, and we've got steel base legs.
Huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
3 different shapes, and then a steel frame that connects the top to the legs, and then 3 slabs of this particular granite on top with a shark nose profile. So we're looking forward to get that one on the socials to see how that one looks. But then we got one more in Bellevue Hill, which integrates timber legs, steel skirting around the legs, and a few more details, and a quartzite top with a double bull nose, which is 3 meters long, 1,200 wide. So,
yeah, slabs.
Yeah, they're
is there 3 slabs in the one?
And 3 slabs for the boardroom table.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. It's been delayed a fair bit due to the build, so we're just been hanging on.
Yeah, you probably get that too. You get all these ideas for a space, and then you have to wait for it to be done, and then you want to get photos and put on. Like it's a waiting game.
It's a waiting game.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting. We've had a job in the mix for 2.5 years.
Wow.
It's being built as we speak at Long Beach, just on the Central Coast. It's for 3-bedroom apartments.
Yeah, mate.
Beautiful dwelling.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because some of the selections I made 2 years ago,
different.
I'm looking at them now going, oh, how do we have this conversation? I might just change all of it.
Yeah.
We spoke to an interior designer that had the same idea.
Yeah.
They said it was rolling for about 2 years, and
things sold out. They couldn't get the things that they had originally
discontinued.
Yeah,
it's really tricky.
Yeah, and like your style changes. What you like changes.
Yeah.
Or you know, don't you? Yeah. Imagine if we were making the pieces too.
Oh yeah. Imagine our 2 years ago pieces.
Oh god.
And it's not just growth in terms of like where you are at in your business. It's trends. Yeah. It's what you know, like what you know now, what you didn't know. What's available.
Materials.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I think as well, sometimes I find with clients, we'll go sort of shopping per se for stone or shopping for tiles. And what we might have been vibing 2 years ago, the client also is like, I've changed my mind. This is taking too long.
I change my mind every day. So like
I imagine.
Yeah.
I know. And I would too if it was my home.
Yeah.
And I had these a whole group of designers and architects and builders working on it, I'd probably be like, well, we might need to revisit that. It's really tricky. But that's why I truly believe in timelessness and versatility in certain pieces, because I think if you select that day one, you can be a little bit more sure that you're not going to be over it in 18 months.
I think that's something we think about a lot when we kind of design our pieces, and even just choosing stone as our material of choice. Like, we try not to be tied into trends and be influenced by trends, because, you know, they're not going to last forever.
It's not timeless.
And we want our pieces to be around in people's homes for generations. Like, we want them to be an investment that you sit around with your friends and family, and then your kids can do it when they grow up. And I think when you follow trends, it's gonna end up in the dump, you know? Like, it's
short-lived.
It's short-lived, and there's so much mass consumption and so much that kind of just gets bought and thrown out, and like, it's sad. So when we design our pieces, they have to be timeless, they have to be classic.
Yeah.
And it's an investment.
But that's such a respected value about what you do, and that would be why clients also come to you. You know, I think a lot of people are I was chatting to a builder earlier around sustainable materials, but also sustainable builds. And he's very strict on using offcuts from walls even.
Yeah.
Ceiling battens, and putting that into kitchen shelving, for example, you know. So it's really not even recycling, it's really revisiting how we can create less consumption and just rubbish. You know, we're so
it's just so easy, but it is easier, isn't it, sometimes, to
convenient.
Just get a piece of pine and use that as your build.
That's it. And then just chuck it out when you're done.
Really tapping into my dad's mum, who used the curtains for the board shorts.
That is brilliant.
Yeah. I just think it's so important. And it's a big part of what we do, I think, is we always use offcuts. Like, everything is made to order, so we can, like, minimise that waste as much as possible. It's important to us, I guess.
And do you have a team? We haven't even spoken about. Do you have anyone else in your team? Is it just the two of you?
It's just us, really. Yeah. We have, we work with stonemasons as well that kind of help with the bigger pieces as well. But yeah. So, yeah. Because Joel can't manage those, 6-metre tables by himself.
Yes.
So, yeah, we work alongside some amazing stonemasons, local stonemasons as well. And we obviously work with, when we do the mixed materials, we have like a local steel fabricator that we use, or a local timber furniture maker. But yeah, I guess predominantly it's us.
So considering your journey, both of you, in organically unraveling your business the way that you have, what would you give to, someone who wants to maybe open their own custom handmade stone business? Like, is it...
Don't do it. Joke.
I think back yourself. Yeah. Like, trust your gut, back yourself. And there's so many amazing people in this industry. Like, the people that we have met within the 3 years that we've learnt so much from, and, they're great business owners, they're creatives. And, like, I don't find the industry competitive and toxic. I find it really welcoming, and we've been welcomed with open arms. And I think lean on those people, talk to them, get nuggets of knowledge. Like, we've picked up so much along the way.
From that competitive part you just spoke about, I think, like, there aren't too many actually Australian-made stone furniture places here, but there are a couple that we have seen what they produce, and they do such a good job of promoting natural stone furniture. So, like, we don't see it really as a competitor so much, but more of a, I guess...
They're working alongside you.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Like, they're showing off what natural stone furniture is as well, like, and showing how good it can be for your place. But, yeah, I think in terms of that, if you want to join the industry, come for it.
Come for it.
Do it. It's, you just sort of, like, you're obviously not going to copy each other's ideas, but they can show off how good natural stone furniture is as well. and how unique it is compared to some of your other types of furniture, for sure.
Like our goal is to like this year when we sat down and spoke about our goal was to like redefine how people see stone in their houses. So kind of push the limits of where and how you can use stone in your home or in your space, in your retail space. And I think like what Joel's saying is like, we don't see these people as competing. We see them as doing that and getting people creative about ways that they can use stone in their home. And like, it's only a good thing to have other great designers and creatives in your industry because it shows people like how versatile and how beautiful stone is. So, yeah.
And a lot of designers, as you would know, have so much creativity, and like sometimes we would not even think to see what they've created when they send us some things over. And like even some renders that we see that they create with furniture is just, that's why we do love to be able to work with interior designers, because they do have a lot of, I guess, creativity, but also, like anything, really. You can make anything out of stone, really.
Yeah.
It's not just furniture. So.
Yeah. We want to make it all.
So exciting.
Yeah.
But it's also like you've got to give yourselves credit for having that perspective. Some people can get really tied up in their external world.
At first we would have. Like we're a bit, like we'd compare ourselves a lot to other businesses.
Yeah.
But in a negative way, kind of like.
We're not as good as them, or, you know, we're not as big as them, or we don't have as many followers as them, you know, all that. It is. Yeah. And it took us a while to kind of come into our own and feel comfortable and confident. And I guess it does kind of tie in.
Mind frame though too.
Yeah.
Being competitive sort of thing. We do have a competitive nature, or maybe not you.
But we compete with us. I'm not that competitive.
Joel's own head. Yeah. So he's like, is it just me at the table? Or?
I am not competitive. But like we compete with ourselves now.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's just having that high expectations, right? When you're a achiever, often a quiet achiever, you sit in your own thoughts sometimes, just feeling like, as you said, more. I could be doing bigger. Oh, hang on, I could be doing better. Yeah. And it can be a vicious cycle. Yeah. But as long as you're not spiraling, as long as you're remaining inspired and keeping it rational. But I do really appreciate that, not seeing other like-minded creatives as competitors. I think I even want to have, you know, a few really incredible interior designers on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because some of them do work that I'll never do, and they'll never do what I do.
And we see that a lot of interior designers actually work together to bring the creative side out of each other. Like, obviously have different concepts and everything, but merging it or working towards each other's is good too.
Yeah. There's enough food at the table for everyone.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really is. And it's that brand alignment as well. Like one of the girls I went to uni with, she's up here and she's an interior designer, and there's been several occasions where the scope's too big for me and my team. And I just want to bounce with someone who's on my page. You know, like I can delegate to the team and I can lead the team, but who's on my level that I can bounce with. Yeah. So it's so important to see everybody as an opportunity. Yeah. I see other businesses as an opportunity to grow and learn and be inspired and then go away and do your own thing. Yeah. And it was interesting just, Jack, when you said about the following, I used to get in my head about that. Yeah. I think it's sort of out the door now. Like I think people don't care like they used to.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing you and you're authentic and you get a following from it, that's a win.
But your following's not paying the bills.
It's
like,
not.
You know, like at the end of the day, we just want to create amazing projects and we want to work with amazing interior designers, and that's our goal. Like, the followers mean nothing.
That's it. My business coach said to me one time, you know, I think at the time I had about 1,000 followers, and I was like, these other people have got heaps of followers, etc. And she said, what if every single one of your followers wanted one small job? I was like, I'd be set for the year.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a change in perspective.
Yeah. What's the word? You know how like rather having 1,000 followers and having 100 like sort of...
Yeah, you're better off having like 200 engaged followers that are potential customers than 10,000 followers that are they're just going to like a few photos, you know? Like, and I think you can get bogged down in that. Like at the start, we really did. A lot of our value we placed around how many followers we had, but it doesn't really mean anything to us now.
Sometimes when you get 10K. When you got to the
10K is pretty cool.
it felt good.
It's funny though, because it's like when you're starting off.
Really.
No, that's what I was about to say. Like,
Still can.
Yeah. When you're starting off, you think, oh, like imagine when you get to this milestone, like not even just Instagram, just like different milestones in your business.
Yeah.
You don't celebrate them as much as you should.
You get busy.
When you get bogged down
It's about the next
the
thing.
dramas.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what didn't we get done today? It's like, I've listened to meditations before where it was sort of like, or podcasts as well. Like, well, what did you get done today? And then I'm like, oh, heaps. Actually, now that you are.
Yeah.
And then you got to pat yourself on the back. Otherwise, there's no one else when you're under a business. Like, especially, I'm not sure if you guys, patting each other on the back, but I find I get home and it's a bit quiet sometimes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, did good today, Camilla. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
We try to, but you are always on to the next thing, aren't you? Like,
It's just next, yeah.
You get better at it.
Practice.
that our next goal.
Goal for 20K.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back. Go out for a big dinner.
I mean, we always have our Christmas party just after.
I'll come.
Yeah.
I've only got
I want to do a big Christmas party or like a big party soon.
Yeah.
For Unrivalled. I don't know what I want to do, but
You could do something really cool.
yeah.
Collaborate with a few people even.
Let's do it. This space is great.
We should. It's all networking too.
Yeah.
The day.
Yeah.
That's what I love about even this podcast. Like, it's just bringing people together.
Yeah.
And we're all going to work together at some point. That's
Yeah.
what's so cool about it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Couple of questions to wrap up, guys.
Cool.
So firstly, where can people find you?
Instagram.
As
Not that we're addicted to your following. Our Instagram is at unrivaled _. And then our website is unrivalledinteriors.com.au. Our email is hello@unrivalledinteriors.com.au. Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can give me a call.
Yeah, give Joel a call. It's on the back of his shirt.
Brilliant.
But he's not available for a date. Sorry.
He's not. He's not single.
He's not single.
He's professionally based.
Yeah.
Maybe one.
One date. That's it. When we reach the 20K.
All pass.
Yeah. There's lots of pretty girls that follow us, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Why not?
Where's this going? But I have to just say on that note, I really appreciate it. I do get a lot of suppliers reaching out and it can be very overwhelming and I get inundated and you can't kind of tell who's who sometimes, like when you're driving in the car. And I have to admit, when you called me, I felt a very personal touch with you. Weren't salesy. I didn't feel that you were trying to get me to buy. It was more that you were so keen, and this is my take, on educating me in your product. And I just have to say that was really, I remembered who you were. I went on, I followed you straight away. Like those type of moments. Whereas sometimes I'll get lots of calls, lots of emails, and I may never even open the email because it's just yet another, hello there. Like, do you even know who I am? You're like, Camilla, hi, it's Joel. Like it's very personable. And I think when you create that rapport, it makes someone like myself as an interior designer trust that you're going to show up, and you're going to have that, you're able to have that conversation that's quite a cold call, really. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And then now we're here. And now I've just got to source some of your pizza. Next steps.
We really believe in cold calling, as it is essentially cold calling. It's changed our business, but like even going and meeting with people, like our trip to Brisbane, we've gone to Sydney a few times, like
Just be personable.
Yeah.
It's connecting.
It's connecting. Yeah.
So important.
And if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And that's something that, you can't kind of portray over an email. Like,
you don't get the same energy.
No.
You don't get the tone. Mm-hmm. And let's be honest, we all get how many emails a day?
Yeah.
Hundreds sometimes.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is spam. I'm not going to pretend that that's all projects. Yeah. Like, how do you manage that? But it's real. Yeah, it's real. And I think that phone call makes a bit of a difference. I saved your number straight away. I never do that. Normally I just have all these random numbers in my phone. And I was like, oh, all right.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Now when I need that, I've got it saved.
I do things.
I do. Pat on the back, mate. It is like our business is just so personal to us and who we are and what's important to us. So I think like, you know, meeting people is such a big part of it.
The owner rather than just the sales rep.
Yeah.
So that's what we sort of go off.
We're so connected to every single part of the business. Like, you know, the hands that make the products, the minds that design the products, like every single step has Joel and I you're across it fully in like everything. So yeah, I think meeting people and showing people who we are is so important.
But that whole mentality that you just said, that breeds success, doesn't it?
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, doing well. Okay, my final question to you both. 2 questions, one each. I like to end on something a bit funny, a bit character-filled. I'm going to start with you, Jack. If you could be a fly on the wall in any room, where would it be and why?
Literally any room of like the Bravo world, reality TV is my kryptonite. Like what? Like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Vanderpump Rules, Summer House. Joel loves too. You love too. We're addicted. Like we were crying.
That I don't know any of these.
You don't know any of the Bravo world? Oh, I'm so envious of people like you because you get to watch with fresh eyes. I'm so envious.
It's like a Netflix series?
It's Hey You. It's reality TV. It's so good. Like Joel and I were crying over Real Housewives of New Jersey. We both cried. It's just like rich people. We're doing rich things. Yeah. That's so fun. I'm obsessed.
Okay.
So yeah, if I was a fly, I'd be on any of their walls. Just listen, getting a tea.
You get to watch it anyway. So
I know, but I want more. I need more. There's never enough.
Behind the scenes. That's pretty cool. All right, Joel, question for you. Have you ever experienced a prank? And if so, what was it?
Would have been in year 12. I had about 100 missed calls, 100 calls from just random numbers. I had a Gumtree ad put up for puppies and all posters around the school and everything saying I was selling, I think it was Jack Russell. And I didn't see the posters or anything for days and I didn't know what was going on. And then, yeah, a couple of boys ended up telling me that they put up a Gumtree ad, but that's the only one I could really think of.
Blowing up your phone.
So,
hot commodity.
Yeah, that's high demand for puppies.
Yeah, I don't know. Would have been right or something else.
Yeah, sure it was puppies. And were all the numbers from random people? Or
Random, just like,
wow.
Yeah, I was letting people down, that's for sure. Poor families, and Dad was going to come pick one up. Not my dad, but some other dad, and I had to tell him no.
They don't have any puppies. I'm so sorry.
It's funny.
It's been really nice having you both on here.
Thanks for having us.
Coming.
It's been fun. So fun.